I'm not like the girl at the club and the bar. I love going and I love like supporting them, but I'm not that girl. Like I had a hard time just going out to like say, hey, you want to come in? You know, like I'm just not like I wear all the sparkles and stuff. So you come talk to me, and then I can talk to you. You know, I think some people put on drag and it's like I hear people talk like it's some superhuman like thing. I don't turn into that girl. I do think it is a superhuman thing because I do think it allows me to be vulnerable and it invites people and it draws people into to me who I really want to connect with. Oftentimes, sometimes it is a protection. Like there's been times that I could hide in drag. And when the interesting thing about, I think, drag or even like, I think being visibly queer people, like there's something that people get just from seeing us. And like, we can be struggling. Like I could be like, I'm so tired of being, you know, this to everyone, or, you know, I don't want to be seen, or I don't want to go out, or like, I'm scared. And then people like see you and they're like, oh my God, you're so brave. And which is a whole nother thing. But, you know, they're like, you see that they're like, they're getting some sort of strength from you and they're talking to you and they're animated and they're, you know, like you see these spirits lifted and then it lifts my spirit. So in some ways it kind of works in this way of kind of it transmits that way, you know, for me. So it's been interesting to try to figure out, well, how can I still do drag because I love doing drag? And how can I do it spiritually, I guess, you know what I mean? I had always saw drag artists as spiritual leaders as I started, you know, getting sober and doing all that and trying to the idea of looking for church or whatever. I'm like, this was church, you know, like especially like drag queens where I grew up, they like had a court system and they had all this royalty and these pageants and they raised money and took care of people who were dying of AIDS and were impacted by AIDS deeply in the 70s and 80s and the 90s. And then even now they do a lot with like trans and immigration. And, you know, like they really do a lot to really try to get into the pulse of where people really need help, you know, and it has its issues for sure. There's still a long ways to go. But I saw that, like, I mean, like, that's what I want to see church do. You know, I want church to be taking care of people or, you know, supporting them, you know, those sorts of things. And then I saw then the pastor must be the drag queen, right? So that was actually one of my interests too, in kind of because I started asking drag artists about their spirituality before I had ever done drag. I had tried it when I was young, but I had too much internalized homophobia, transphobia that I just couldn't do it. I couldn't handle people hitting on me as a girl because I was like, I'm a dude who likes dudes, you know, like that's where I was at in my understanding of myself. I'm not a dude who wants to be a girl, you know, and that's a little crass, but that was just kind of like my thinking at the time. Like being trans wasn't even like a concept to me at that point in time.